Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. I like to post about books and music, mostly Taylor Swift. First of all, I would like to apologize for not posting a video last week. I got COVID for the first time. At this point, I was starting to think maybe I just am immune. Like some people just don't get it, and I'm not one of those people. It was a little bad for a couple days, I'm not gonna lie. The day I was supposed to film last week, I was so NyQuil'd and it was just not pretty. But today's a lot better. I haven't had a fever in several days and I'm kind of coughing, but it's not even as bad of a cough as the one I had a few months ago when I was vlogging Where the Crawdads Sing, reading that book, or even West Nile. This wasn't even as bad as West Nile. But today I'm going to be reacting to Avril Lavigne's first album ever, Let Go, but I will be reacting to the 20th anniversary edition. I don't think this is like a re-recording like how Taylor Swift has been doing. It looks like this is like the songs are remastered, maybe like the production has been tweaked a bit, but it seems like this is her original vocal take. Also, I apologize if I look like a greasy baked potato. I have so much irritation from these blowing my nose. It's either greasy or flaky, and I picked greasy. I have literal petroleum jelly on my face, but you guys are here for the music. So this is the last album in my Avril Lavigne discography series, but do not let that get you down. I still have plans to, well, first of all, react to any new music she puts out. I have a feeling we're gonna get a Taylor Avril collab in a month. I just have a very strong feeling. So my plan is to possibly do a commentary type video about her record label, because I know there's a lot of drama surrounding that and I want to dive into that. I'm going to rank every Avril Lavigne album now that I've listened to all of them all the way through. I'm also going to be tier ranking every Avril Lavigne music video, and I'm going to be reacting to Avril Lavigne's unreleased music. I will have a community tab post up soon asking for requests for what unreleased songs you would like my opinion on in that video. However, somebody did DM me a Google Doc that they made of all of the unreleased songs, so I think I'm going to be using that as a guideline. I think everything unreleased is on there. It's going to be a long video. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to see that is Avril related, or just music or book stuff in general, whatever you want to see on this channel. Quick disclaimer, I will be listening to these songs through my headphones as always for copyright reasons, because if this video gets blocked, then you guys cannot see it. And if you would like to skip around, I do have timestamps down in the description. I don't really know what we're getting into here. The last album I reacted to, Under My Skin, which is her second album, and I believe she did start off with that grungier sound. Like, I think that album was kind of an extension of that, so that's kind of what I'm going into this album expecting it to sound like. Wow, that chorus is really just hitting us. It makes me think of Nickelback a little bit. There's a really light breakdown of the last chorus. It's got really interesting production. Okay, the first few seconds, I accidentally clicked on the old version that was not remastered, and I listened to like 3 seconds of it before I realized, and then I clicked on the new version, and oh my god, the panning of the sounds in the different headphones, like there's an attention to detail that's there, and I'm glad this was remastered. It's nice that she went back and like wanted to do that, just to like give her fans an updated, obviously, because technology has improved so much since then. But yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting as an opener. Lyrically, not too impressive, but I like all the interesting sounds. I can't even figure out what all of the instruments are. This was my shit. I love this song so much. Oh, I'm so excited to hear it remastered. I feel like this is just gonna be so pristine. Ooh, that acoustic guitar in the beginning. I don't see that much of a difference. Maybe the instruments are a little sharper. Oh, I hear it now in the chorus. I can hear the harmonies clearer. Lyrically, I think this is actually pretty interesting and very much a moment frozen in time, because it is very early 2000s, late 90s. Even just the entire idea behind the song, like she talks a lot about like clothing, like take off all your preppy clothes, like this person is trying to become like the mainstream thing. What I find so interesting is like with the generation that's in high school like right now, which is pretty much my generation, I'm only 23, like people who are a few years younger than me, with the internet in general and like TikTok especially, everyone has like a specific aesthetic, and there are so many different avenues you can explore, and like thrifting is a huge thing. But back in like 2004, the styles of teenagers was like everybody wanted to dress dress alike, and it was like specific brands you had to have, like Abercrombie, I think Hollister, they all like had their time at that point. There's not really like a brand these days that kids are just wearing and obsessed with. I feel like we've become so much more about individuality with styles because of like thrifting and all the million different aesthetics. But basically I think this is very interesting because it's like, it's a moment frozen in time. Like I don't think a song like this could really apply that much to today. Like there is of course still like a preppy, like rich person type of style that people may want to try to emulate. But I remember like my half brother growing up, specific brands that were so in demand, and we just don't have that anymore. And I think she's kind of talking about things like that, like preppy clothes and people acting like they're somebody else. Now I feel like it's a lot more embraced to be individual. I mean, the early 2000s in general was very limited on what was cool. Low-rise jeans and being very thin. There was not a whole lot of media representation of different types of people. I just feel like we've come a long way, and something like this could not really be written in the same way today, and that's why I think this song is so interesting. Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna have that kind of rigidity of what's cool ever again. Honestly, with the internet, micro trends, things are changing so fast that like the way she's describing this person who wants to be cool, I don't think you can ever be cool in that same way again. It's just specific. I like it. It's also really nostalgic. It really was very much a time of like preps slash jocks and like skater people. Stuff like emo and scene hadn't even completely come onto the scene yet, like in the late 2000s, and now we've got like an extension of that that's kind of like e-girl. We have dark academia, actual preppy, then there's people who like to dress straight out of the 60s with thrift store stuff, coconut girls. It's just such an array, and all of them are trendy. There are people now who are going viral on TikTok for recreating Avril Lavigne's old outfits, like the skater vibe. I graduated in 2017. I kind of caught the tail end of it. Like I remember Aeropostale was like huge when I was in middle school. I kind of got that a little bit in middle school, and everyone was straightening their hair in the exact same way, and like the skinny jeans were huge. Like you had to be wearing skinny jeans. But God, by the time it was like my junior or senior year, there was not a straight definition of something that was like cool and trendy. It was like everybody was doing something completely different, and it wasn't really about what you were wearing but how you were wearing it, and if people just liked you or not. It like really was not about the clothes anymore. So I think that's probably to an even greater extent now. I feel like I'm looking way too deep into this, but I don't even care. Acting like I've seen so much of a progression of things when I'm literally only 23. Wow, this one, so good. Wow, that drum roll in the beginning was pretty different. That guitar, this has such good lyrics too. It's just such a cool storytelling song, and like it's in this punky grunge genre, and usually you see this type of song delivered in like a country format, especially at that time. I love the plot twist of the bridge. It's so clever. Also, I didn't realize when I was younger that the second verse, 5 years from now, she sits at home feeding the baby, she's all alone. This is like a jab at her being like a single mom. She turns down this guy in high school and acts like he's not good enough for her, but then she ends up with a baby daddy who can't stay. I did not realize that that was what it was implying. I thought she was like babysitting. The fact that a film is coming for this, I think that's so cool. How did she even get this idea? Like, she has a writing credit on this and there's only one other co-writer. Yeah, she wrote it about her high school experience and different cliques and everything. That is so interesting. Yeah, I really got just like the tail end of that kind of experience, because when I was in middle school it was kind of cliquey, but by the time I got to high school I think it was like, as I said before, almost like there would be way too many cliques to even like keep track. Like the amount of diversifying that was happening. This is a moment in time. A skater clique? Does that even exist today in schools? That is fascinating. I will eat that up until the day I die. Oh my god, the strings. Wow, the drums are so prominent now. The acoustic guitar. The song sounds like a hug. The strings, I love that they improved upon that. I feel like when Avril writes good lyrics, first of all, the melodies work really well with the lyrics. Like, the lyrics are never something that's like incredibly poetic or like metaphorical, but I feel like she makes lyrics and melodies work together in a way that's very interesting. Like in the chorus, it's a damn cold night. Like the syllabic delivery of those words with the melody, it's so strong, and like she's able to just put this emotion into it that just works so well, even though that's not a deep thing to say. It's a damn cold night. When she does a good ballad, oh my god, it's like amazing. The vocals, oh my god, the I'm with you, and it's just so powerful. I love it. Take me by the hand, take me somewhere new. So simple, but so strongly delivered. Ooh, it's almost country? What is this? Wow, her voice is so interesting in this. The chorus melody slaps. This is exactly what I was talking about in the last one. Everything's changing. It's like such a hook, I guess. It's really catchy. Also, the melody sounds familiar. It just sounds like a very catchy 90s song. I don't think I've heard this before though. With that bridge, those chords. I feel like I'm at a Texas roadhouse. I like how she calls herself a mobile. Like, is it like those infant things you stick on the ceiling and have them watch it while they sleep? She does say hanging from the ceiling, spinning around with mixed feelings. Oh my god. No, guys, this is actually like deep. She was 17 when this came out, going from childhood to adulthood, and she talks about literally this thing that you use for babies. It's like a symbol of her childhood, and she's like holding on to that while everything's changing. I'm waking up to say I've tried instead of waking up to another TV guide. Wait, is she talking about that like universal childhood experience of falling asleep and then waking up at midnight and there's like infomercials on the TV when people had cable who even pays for cable anymore? That's how I see it. Like that childhood feeling of like waking up to this loud ass infomercial at 12:30 at night. This is so cool. This is a really interesting coming of age themes. A baby mobile. Also, it slaps. I'm gonna be revisiting that one. This sounds like a cartoon. Okay, now it's really heavy guitar, no more cartoon. What are these country melodies? The chord changes are giving James Bond. The vocal delivery is giving Carrie Underwood. The like song itself, especially the chorus, is giving Evanescence. I don't even know what to feel. She wrote this about her boyfriend's parents. Oh my god. Okay, that makes it a lot more interesting. All that I did was walk over, start off by shaking your hands. That's how it went. I had a smile on my face and I sat up straight. I wanted to know you, I wanted to show you. And they just rejected her because of, oh my god, I think it's more themes of like her being like the outcast, skater girl type vibe. This boy's parents thought like she was too wild for him or whatever. I bet they're really kicking themselves now for not being approving of that relationship. Not the greatest lyrics, but an interesting concept. I mean, she's being very literal. I walked over, shook your hands. It seems like more cathartic than it's supposed to be, like poetic or anything. Ooh, acoustic guitar ballad. I try to believe you, but I don't. And then it like hits. It's giving like ending credits of a movie. Not really hitting on the first listen. I really like the production and music though. I don't know the story behind this. It's always been up to you. It's turning around. It's up to me. I'm gonna do what I have to do. Just don't give me a little time. Leave me alone a little while. I don't know. I feel like I need more context. I can't help but think about the song that Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez did on Disney. Anything but ordinary, one and the same. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking of, but that song came out way after this one. Ooh, it's all tense. Ooh, that is a pretty intro. Oh, it's so like happy 90s. I love this verse. I laugh myself to sleep, it's my lullaby. That's cute. Oh my god, this chorus freaking slaps. Oh my god, that melody. Somebody rip my heart out and leave me here to bleed. What? I'm obsessed with this. I'm emotionally confused. The panning guitar, it's just going around and around my head. I love this one so much. I think it's so well written and the melodies are amazing. I want to know that I've been to the extreme, like living your life to the fullest. This is so cool. And the bridge, this world is a beautiful accident, turbulent, succulent, opulent, permanent, no way. Those are really cool words, and she doesn't write like this that often, but I wish she would. Like, this is really good. It's so interesting, and I love when she does like this random, like, sometimes I get so weird I even freak myself out. I laugh myself to sleep. It's my lullaby. I really like that one. This one's gonna be one of my favorites. Oh, I know this one. Oh my god, I love this one. She's like nearly yodeling in this interlude. Okay, this is another great example of her just like using the melody and the like way she sings the words to her advantage. Like this song is called Things I'll Never Say. To be 17 and to be singing like if I could say what I want to say, I'd say I want to blow you away. The pause, oh my god. If I could say what I want to see, I want to see you go down on one knee. The melody of it and the rhythm, I think it's funny and clever and really goes with the title because it's like something she would never say, especially at 17. It's a little uncomfortable almost, but it's like very, very subtle. And the melody slaps. The way the first line of the chorus hits is just so good. The melodies, she really like knows what she's doing with that aspect of the songwriting. Ooh, more fun like 90s pop sounds. Probably because I always forget every time someone tells me their name. relatable. Oh my god, I love this. I think this one is so good too. The lyrics are so cool. She like lets us into how she grew up, like as a preteen, I think. I always forget every time someone tells me their name. I mentioned that, but like, oh my god, how many times I've like shook someone's hand, looks them in the eyes, they tell me their name, and I just don't catch it. Like, never wore cover up, always beat the boys up. Do you remember when people called powder foundation cover up? Made my money by cutting grass, got fired by a fried chicken ass. Oh my god, then she mentions her town by name. It's so detailed. I really like that. I always stay up without sleeping and think to myself, where do I belong forever? In whose arms, the time and place? In this head, my thoughts are deep, but sometimes I can't even speak. I actually think this song has a lot of depth to it. Like, sometimes I think maybe she struggles with like communicating into words, like deep thoughts that she has, because some of her lyrics are very shallow. But I don't feel like she's a shallow person. Like, maybe she just has a hard time communicating sometimes. But other times she's very successful, like in a song like this, or some of the other examples that I've really enjoyed. I like that she's like letting us in that way. And then the second verse, it's like her hair care routine, which I think is so funny and cool. Who sings about that? I love that. It's really unique. Passing the time in like a town with 5,000 people in the middle of nowhere. When you're all alone in the lands of forever. Lands of forever. I love that phrase. Lay under the Milky Way. You can see the northern lights in Canada. All this daydreaming that's happening, that's relatable to a lot of people, I think. Oh my god, I grew up in a relatively small town too. A small suburb, I guess. It's not rural by any means, but it's definitely a suburb. Yeah, so much daydreaming and like escapism, being a teenager, early teens, and reading for escapism, watching movies, daydreaming. Oh my god, always being somewhere else mentally. It gives me so much nostalgia. Oh, they like chopped up some vocals into an instrumental. Is she rapping? Oh my god. Why do I feel like this is directed at the same person as Complicated is directed as? Like, did they try to also make her preppy? Because she mentions fool. I mean, that's the title. You try to be cool, you look like a fool to me. Lyrical parallels? She's literally rapping, I can't. I'm not the milk and Cheerios in your spoon. And her voice, she sounds so young. I might have fallen for that when I was 14 and a little more green, but it's amazing what a couple of years can mean. This is so like raw. They just let her say exactly what she wanted to say on this album, huh? Would you be laughing out loud if I played to my own crowd? Go ahead and try. It's just so teenage. I love how honest this album is. I feel like she's not inhibited in the slightest. Like, I don't know, I wasn't getting as much depth from Under My Skin, and I know that's like the fan favorite album, but this one so far is just like everything I thought Under My Skin would be. Like, this is so good and honest. The rapping is freaking killing me though. This is not what I was expecting. It's been, how many albums have I listened to at this point, and she has not rapped once. And here I am, 16, 17-year-old Avril, and she's fucking rapping in my ears. What is going on? I'm not the milk and Cheerios in your spoon. It's so young. I just can't. Her saying like when I was 14 and a little more green, but it's amazing what a couple of years can mean. It's just so 17. I love it. I love that they didn't stop her from any of that. It feels like just ripped straight out of her diary. And the melody's pretty good. I wouldn't say as good as some of the other ones I've really liked, but the lyrics are so cool that I don't care. Like, I think it's so fun. Ooh, it's all tense. It sounds like a Twilight soundtrack song. Oh my god, I'm gonna scream. Till you chose weed over me, you're so lame. I love when she uses details and she tells us what she's talking about, because sometimes she's vague and it's like boring, but this is shocking and so fun. That line is just killing me. But you're dating a skater boy, like what do you expect? Oh my god, I love this. It's so teenage. Thought you'd come around when I ignored you. The silent treatment, so teenage. But babe, I guess you didn't. What is this twang? It's a waltz too. It's like a 6/8 time signature. Why does she sing mirror so prettily? It's such an ugly word, but she sings it so... I feel like I'm 14 again when I listen to this. Supposedly she wrote this about a guy she met when she was 14, and it's just so imbued with that 14-year-old perspective. The instruments are so cool too. It sounds a little bit like I'm With You instrumentally. I love it. I love that she's being honest and giving us a detail and like being specific. I think that leads to better songs that aren't like generic sounding. Like, it sounds like her experience. I feel like I'm there with her. Like, oh my god, it's so nostalgic for me. Interesting title choice for a 17-year-old. Why does it sound like at the beginning of Lose Yourself by Eminem? I wake up in the morning, put on my face. That's interesting because she's criticized makeup a lot kind of on this album, and now here she is like putting it on. So the word naked is a metaphor. It's like, you see right through me. I don't think there's any other songs with this kind of title though, like its original title. Okay, so that was the end of the standard edition. That last one didn't stick out to me too much, honestly. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on the standard edition, and then I will switch to tomorrow where I will react to the bonus tracks. So literally the only 3 songs that I was not a fan of were the last one, Naked, Tomorrow, and kind of Losing Grip. I feel like I need to re-listen to Losing Grip because I feel like I would like that, but I don't know, it just didn't like catch my ear as an opener. And it really sucks that I don't really like the closer or the opener because those are 2 very important songs on an album. However, I am a very huge fan of this album. I like it more than Under My Skin, and I actually think this might be my second favorite Avril album. My first favorite is Still Love Sucks, and this one is also very up there. I wasn't expecting this to be like my second favorite one. The most recent one is my favorite, and the oldest one is my second favorite, which is kind of interesting. I think it's just so honest. I don't know, like I feel like there's a vagueness to Under My Skin that wasn't resonating with me. I love this, I think it's so fun. I understand why she had such success with these singles. God, the singles are like incredible. This is such a good album. Yeah, I don't know if you guys will be like surprised by that or not, but I wasn't expecting this to be one of my favorites because usually an artist gets better with time. Like Taylor Swift's first album, for example, is my least favorite one, and even Fearless is like my second least favorite one because I think she just improved so much with time. And Avril has improved a lot with time, especially when I think about like her first like 4 albums, not including this one, like the first 4, 2, 3, and 4. They have like a vagueness, like her songwriting wasn't as good as it is today, I think. But there's something about this first one that feels so honest and vulnerable. And I think maybe that's just kind of what you get with a debut album because she potentially might have been writing songs since she was like 11 years old. And if she had a lot of material and she was picking the very best songs from that entire batch, by the time the second album rolls around, that's a curse a lot of artists have where they've kind of picked all the good stuff from their entire life and now it's time to put new stuff out. So they have to like write all new stuff in a shorter amount of time, if that makes sense. And I think that's kind of maybe what happened to Avril because some of these feel like she was like 14 in some of these situations, like potentially even younger. So I see that. I feel like it's a lot more time and potentially these songs came from a way bigger batch of options. These are some of the best ones from her very beginning of her career. I'm very pleased that they didn't try to push her out of any of her creative decisions here. I feel like they really just let her go for it with like the milk and the Cheerios. It's so juvenile. I'm obsessed with it. It's perfect for her age. I think it's just amazing. It sounds like an album written by a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old or even as early as 13 or 14, some of these songs, and they're good and it's just blunt and they didn't try to mature it up or any of that. So I can really appreciate it. It just sounds like it's coming from a 16-year-old and I love that. I am a huge fan. And now we're gonna cut to me reacting to all the other songs. Thank you, Past Nicole. My cough is a little worse today, so I'm glad I filmed the bulk of this video yesterday. So first we have the original version of Why that was released on the first release-al of this album back in 2002. So this one is 5 seconds longer than the one that was just released for the 20th anniversary edition. She has really pretty runs in her voice on this song. It's like completely acoustic and it has a very pop melody like a lot of the stuff on this album. These melodies make me think a lot of like Taylor Swift's unreleased stuff that I've listened to before. They started off with very similar songwriting foundations, like really strong popish melodies, this really acoustic driven stuff, and occasionally like pretty generic lyrics. Tell me, are you and me still together? Tell me you think we could last forever. Tell me why. Wait, this bridge is interesting. Her voice is so young and pure and sweet. Oh my god, the vibrato is so good. Key change! Got the emotion in her voice. I really like that, even though I'm like not a fan of the lyrics at all. The melodies are really nice, her voice, and I just love how the guitar sounds, like the chords are really well chosen. I liked how the bridge kind of switched it up. Like the structure of the song is really nice, especially the key change at the end. Like, I don't know, something about that melody driving it home I think was a smart decision because it is a really good melody. It's very, very early 2000s pop of a melody. I like that better as a closer than Naked for sure. Okay, so now we're going to listen to the new version of Why, which is 6 seconds shorter and I guess has different production and slight lyrical changes, which I'm excited to see. Maybe she improved upon it a little bit. The first one really feels like a demo. Wait, no, this one's way more produced. Her voice sounds deeper. She sounds older. It has electric guitar. Oh my god, it's like country pop. This reminds me so much of Taylor Swift on her like debut, or even before that. Like unreleased stuff from even younger. That's crazy. God, their melody writing is so similar. Is it just like being a girl at that age in the early 2000s or what? Because that is crazy. But the voice, I love my girl Taylor so much, but she is a songwriter first and foremost, and I would say lyrically is quite a bit stronger than Avril was. But oh my god, Avril's voice, she just has such a good control over it at this young of an age. It's so pleasant to listen to. Like sometimes back in the day, like early Taylor Swift stuff, there's so much howling country twang stuff that I'm like, okay, I can't listen to this for very long. She's improved a whole lot now, just like Avril's lyrics have. My camera overheated and like died, but I caught it literally immediately. So as I was saying, what was I saying? I think I was saying Taylor's voice has improved since this time period and Avril's lyrics have improved since this time period. And I can't help but kind of compare the two because I see so many similarities with their debuts. But Avril's voice, I think that's truly where it's at. Like everybody has their thing that they are known for. With Taylor, it is her songwriting craft. With Avril, like I think it's the voice, but also like the style. But I don't know, I think of her as a vocalist first and foremost, even though she has written songs for other people. It's like the voice is definitely the first thing to catch your attention, especially at this age. She really has her shit together vocally. I think it's honestly so impressive because I hear so many like young artists in their early teens and like those pipes are rough. Like the technique and everything, very rough until they're able to improve. But this is genuinely something I could listen to a lot and not get like irritated by the tone quality. I'm pretty impressed with her vocal ability all the way from the beginning. I don't think I've heard a single bad Avril recording. That key change hits just as hard in the produced version. I love that too. I don't know if I necessarily have a preference. I think it may be the more produced one just because it's got more energy and more dynamic contrast that you just don't really have with just a voice and acoustic guitar. Like there weren't even drums in the original one, I don't think. This is so interesting because it's like I wasn't expecting this first album to be like Avril with kind of a lack of edginess. It's almost like she's really going for this pop sound, which is like just not what I was expecting, because her sophomore album was very much like grunge inspired. You hear Nirvana, you hear a lot of Evanescence influences, but this one is like 90s pop. Like I'm hearing like Sixpence None the Richer. I'm hearing kind of like the different ethereal acoustic pop sounds that Taylor Swift was inspired by when she wrote August. It's got that vibe of nostalgia and 2000s pop. I really was expecting kind of an edginess or a grunginess or like a pop punk thing, but we really haven't got that much at all. Well, with like Skater Boy, complicated kind of, but complicated is still like a pop ballad at its core. Losing Grip is kind of edgy, but for the most part, oh my god, these are early 2000s pop bangers and she does it so well. I think her voice had such a pure, sweet quality at this age that like she just really made this her bitch. I think this is like the smartest genre choice she could have made with a vocal tone like that at the time. Ooh, violins again? What is this drum? Oh my god, I'm obsessed with it. It's like drumsticks. This is so tense, I'm obsessed. Again, another chorus that just hits. This makes me think of like Demi Lovato's early stuff. You filthy rotten hound. I'm obsessed. What a good verse. I love the la 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 melody. Oh my god, her saying get over it at the end. There's a weird fade out instrument that sounds like cats meowing with like an effect over it. I'm a fan of that. It makes me think of Don't Tell Me a little bit of her second album, like the themes, especially the second verse. I like the instrumentation of this. A lot of pop influences again. Well, I mean, we knew Avril could do pop, like she did some of that on like Head Above Water. I'm reading that she had a lyric change on this one. She changed it from the line, don't turn around, I'm sick and I'm tired of your face, was originally don't turn around because you will get punched in the face. The original is very Avril, but I'm kind of glad she changed it because it's just like very abrasive, especially as a line in the chorus that's repeated so often. It's catchy, especially the chorus. God, these choruses are just slapping in this debut album. Okay, so I have heard this one a lot actually because I really like her version. Now this is actually pretty edgy and like pop punky, whereas Kelly Clarkson, her version was like pure pop. Also, I like how Kelly changed the lyric to when the rain would fall down because Kelly's literally from Texas, isn't she? Like it does not snow there. I mean, it did a couple years ago when Ted Cruz was in Cancun, but like Avril grew up in Canada when the snow would fall down. I'm sure she saw that a lot. I like how they related it to themselves in their own ways. I cannot believe how big of a song song this was for Kelly, like with the Princess Diaries movie. I think Avril had her own song on the Princess Diaries movie too, but it did not end up as successful as this one, which sucks. It's so crazy that she gave this song away. Why did she do that? Like, it was literally huge. But would it have been as huge if it was Avril is what I'm wondering? Because Kelly's voice like really hits. And I don't know, would something that sounds this rock inspired have done as well on the charts at this time? I feel like maybe Kelly's version did so well because it was, I guess, more accessible to a listener, like a pop listener, while this is definitely grungier. Interesting stuff to consider. Yeah, sitting here listening to it, I've come to the conclusion that first of all, when Avril sings it, she makes it sound too easy. This song feels like a very easy song for her to sing, but Kelly adds this like drama to it where it's like almost pained in her voice, but Avril, it's like her voice comes out so breezy, like these are not hard notes for her to hit, and they may not even be hard notes for Kelly to hit, but like the way there just seems to be a little more power. And also I think maybe a reason it was so successful is because Kelly came from an American Idol background where it's like, you know, you go from the girl next door to like a superstar overnight, and I think the themes of this song really fit that narrative that the public had of Kelly, so I think maybe that's why it did so well. It is crazy how fate works, because I just like don't know if that would have happened with this being on Avril's debut. The lyrics are so good, and that makes me wish it was on the original because I feel like it shows her ability more for songwriting. All the visuals of the snow coming down, she grew up in a small town. She's talked about this on other songs on the album, so it really fits thematically. Her staring out her window, that one song of how she would like be daydreaming all the time and like would braid her hair to pass the time. I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. Such a hook. The third verse, I want to feel the warm breeze, sleep under a palm tree, feel the brush of the ocean, get on board a fast train, travel on a jet plane. Lots of different visuals. And then the bridge, buildings with 100 floors, swinging around revolving doors, maybe I don't know where they'll take me. She's just really serving us these visuals. And then again, of course, the melody. I feel like this really proves what I've said a few times already. Avril can write such a good pop melody. Like, she did take this song and make it edgier for her version, but it translates so well into a pure pop sound. I'm very impressed with how easily that comes to her as like a skater girl, I guess. Oh my god, there was a Selena Gomez song called Falling Down that I was obsessed with like, what, over a decade ago? This is so poppy again too. It's like early 2000s. I'm confused by this lyric in the second verse. I'm still proving that I can stand my ground and my feet are there. Haven't washed my hair. To be lost before you're found don't mean you're losing. That seems really random. I understand the like acceptance of failure. It's just like something that will happen in your life as a human, but it just seems random. I haven't washed my hair. Someday I'll live in a house, but you know, it's not for now. Where does she live? An apartment? Before you're old, you're young. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Yes, Avril, before you're old, you are young. I do really like the concept of this song though. I feel like the execution is a little weird lyrically, but nobody ever wants to talk about like how many failures it takes to have a success. Like, that's something that is still like just barely talked about. Ooh, a little early 2000s fade out. Okay. I really like the chorus. I think that's well constructed and like makes sense. The rest of it is a little bit weird. Yeah, more really pop stuff. This chorus hits again. Really catchy melody. Something about the instrumentals make me think of some like 80s song. Oh my god, this is like Don't Tell Me too. I like when she finds a really successful formula for the structure of a song and she like does not deviate from that. I think it's actually pretty smart. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, it makes me think of Don't Tell Me, but like super poppy and fun. Really catchy. I'm probably going to listen to this again and like chant the chorus. A lot of these songs are so radio friendly. I feel like she could have done an insane amount of singles on this album. This chorus melody is actually kind of weird. It's got a weird tension to it. I think there are like a lot of minor chords in it maybe. Why? Let me look that up. Yeah, she's using a lot of minor chords. What the heck? I want to hear this with major chords like most of the other songs on this album. I think. I haven't checked. But it's like tense. Why are there so many minor chords? It's a song about like being yourself and not hiding who you are. And she's like, let's make it creepy. The bridge, no more mirrors, no more vanity, give it all away for free, donate to charity, I'm happy in my skin. I mean, I definitely like the messaging of like, it's fine to not wear makeup because there's always been a pressure to like have to. But oh my god, I watched this old documentary of Avril and she was like, oh, I've always been a tomboy, I always played a lot of sports, I've never been a girly girl who's like, oh, my high heels face and my hair and my makeup or whatever, and it was like so condescending towards those like feminine attributes, and I'm sitting here like shit. That was an awful time because I always was like so girly. It just sucks that there was a time of like such internalized misogyny that like those things are so weak and lame and awful, but that's besides the point because the song doesn't really have that in it. It's more like explaining her own experience. The chorus though, I'm not wearing any makeup won't hide who I am. Wearing makeup isn't hiding who you are. Sometimes it really expresses who you are because you're like really showing what you like visually on your face. These are my favorite colors, to show them on your face. I think that really shows who you are. Or if you like sparkly shit, you can put that on your eyes. That's why I really like makeup. I understand why this one is a bonus track. The minor chords are strange, first of all. I feel like Avril has actually a lot of songs on this standard edition of this album that show exactly who she is in a way that's not like putting down someone who's different from her, like someone who really likes makeup, for example. Like she's calling that hiding who you are, blah blah blah. I think it's a lot more interesting when Avril just explains who she is instead of saying who she's not, because that can come across as a little bit condescending sometimes. I'm my only friend. I think it's nice that she's talking about maybe like her introverted tendencies. I feel like we really got a glimpse into who Avril is, or at least was when she was a teenager on this album, which I'm really enjoying. It's a lot less about like love songs, which is like, you know, the very early Taylor Swift stuff. There were a couple songs that were kind of about who she was as a person, the outside and a place in this world, I think of. But Avril is just like every single song is like so individual and about her. There's like barely any love songs on here. If they are, it's kind of like tumultuous, like the ending of a relationship. Yeah, I think I stick with my original statement of this is my second favorite Avril album, right below Love Sucks. Yeah, so this album actually exceeded my expectations. You guys were really hyping up Under My Skin, but honestly, Debut is where it's at. I feel like this is actually the album that should have been called like self-titled Avril Lavigne, because I feel like I know her now. Like I feel like I really understand who she was at that point in her life. This was very diaristic and revealing about who she is, and I really enjoyed all the fun pop melodies. I would love to hear what your guys' favorite songs are from this album. Remember to keep an eye out for all of my upcoming Avril content. I have a Lana Del Rey series coming up where I'm going to talk through her entire discography. Yeah, let me know any other requests you might have. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, it is right here, and if you want to follow me on my TikTok, that is right here. I will see you all next week for another video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye guys.